You know, you attack someone's beloved hobby and they will rain down on you with a force like 3,000 pink fluffy pillows of anger. I know it all too well. I deal with the underdog world of being an Xbox One owner. If you're an Xbox One owner these days, you're used to being told that you're inferior. So I handled criticism from friends for not wanting a PS4. I thought it was overkill, since I could name on one finger how many PS4 exclusives I want to own. So I turned to my older brother that works in the networking and the IT field to build me a gaming PC. That's when all hell broke loose. Well, I opened my big yapper and complained about the price of the build. I said,
PC gaming costs double of console gaming. I can get a PS4 for $400, but a gaming rig is almost $800.
My gripe on YouTube was applauded and hated by equal parts of about 40 viewers. After a couple weeks passed, someone commented on one of my guitar videos and said,
I don't know if you care, but your video is getting a lot of hate. Someone posted it on Reddit.
That day the view count shot from 40 views to 1,000, and the hate was rolling in. PC elitists speaking their own dialect, a mixture of medieval and Jedi master talk.
The peasantry is strong with this one, my lord. I beseech thy joust upon this console, Todd.
First, the comments rolled in with two major declarations. First was that I was the biggest idiot on YouTube, which is fair, and that I didn't do any research. Also, a lot of PC elitists seemed to think my brother was trying to rip me off. All I had done was call out the rig he was building and the prices of everything from his wholesale supplier. First of all, when I took the parts list to other PC gamers, they said things like,
You need a bigger processor. That GPU is weak. You'll need a bigger hard drive, and you'll need a better case with an intercooler, and blah 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 blah.
So this brings me to my second declaration that came flooding in.
There are builds for $400 that would shiz all over your stupid console.
Yeah, right, let's see him, I'd reply. Then I got links for builds around $500 to $600 that were missing things like an operating system or a hard drive. But that's not really the issue. Let's look at what is wrong with the idea of building a console-priced PC, since these PC gamers really do hide what they spent on their rigs. Remember that no PCMasterRace nobleman will allow his or her friends to run on such a low-grade build and will banish them from the kingdom of PCville for running such inferior specs. Let's look at a recent example. While the prices are still fresh and relevant, let's say that you don't own a gaming platform, but you'd really like to get into GTA 5. Now, of course, GTA 5 came out on 360 and PS3, but it was rebuilt for the new consoles. So if you want to play GTA 5, you can build a PC or buy a PS4, because the grass just looks nicer than on the Xbox One version. A brand new PS4 will cost $400 and GTA 5 will run on the console, without updating software other than waiting for a patch to download automatically. A minimum specs gaming PC built to run GTA 5 will be a bit more tricky. To save as much money and keep it as close to a console price as possible, let's shop around and part out things to stay within the minimum specs required. Let's start with a case and a standard mouse and keyboard. The case is $40 and the mouse and keyboard for $15. A dual-core processor for $170 to mount into a standard motherboard at $50. Not too shabby, eh? 100 gigabyte space is required, so let's not go overboard. Let's get a cheap 100 gigabyte conventional hard drive for $20. We'll need an optical drive to install the game, but that's only $28. Next, we'll need a graphics card. Minimum specs call for an AMD 4780 or equivalent. That's $150. 4 gigabytes of RAM for $25, and Windows 8 to run it on for $90. That's a minimum specs gaming rig, all for the low price of $588. That's fairly close to the price of a console, especially if you plan to run the PC into a TV and you don't need to buy a monitor. Well, that's nearly $200 more than a console, but that's not the problem. Let's look at a practical application on why a minimum specs PC that all these PC elitists recommend will become a major problem down the road. I'll illustrate this by going back in time. Let's pretend that it's 2011 and you want to build a minimum specs PC, just so you can run Battlefield 3. The minimum specs call for a 2.4 GHz dual processor, 2 GB of RAM, Windows Vista, and a GeForce 8 GPU. Recommended specs are quite a bit more stout and pricey, obviously, and here they are. Now, you've been enjoying your gaming PC and 2013 rolls around, and you've been anxiously awaiting Battlefield 4. But you read the minimum requirements. 2.4 GHz dual-core processor, 4 gigs of RAM, Windows Vista, and a GeForce 8800. Now you PC elitists realize that you need to buy 2 gigabytes of RAM and a brand new video card. At this point you decide you've already spent a nice chunk of money on your minimum rig, and you can either buy a new minimum GPU or spend double to get a GPU with some longevity that will last longer than a measly 2 years. But for the sake of my minimum argument, you've decided to go with a $250 hardware upgrade. Is this what you wanted to do every 2 to 4 years? A console cycle lasts anywhere from 6 to 8 years. Did they really expect me to spend double the amount or more in that period of time just to keep up with games as they come out? A minimum rig is great for Dota, World of Warcraft, DayZ, but apparently all the real games with knockout visuals are running just fine on consoles. So, tell me again, why are we console peasants and PC gamers the noblest? Tell me how Steam gives you cheap deals on games while us console peasants can buy, rent, trade, and sell our games freely. Tell me again how I don't do my research. And next time you have a chance, look at the cardboard box you keep in your closet that's full of all the outdated hardware that doesn't count for the money you spent on your current rig. Let me close with one last thought. We're all nerds, whether we game on PC or on a console. Let's unify our hate, let's point it where it belongs, on lazy publishers and filthy mobile gamers. This is Colt Eastwood. Comment, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos, and thanks for watching.